But why would you want to drop down to low ground once you have control of the high ground? No, it's like the Jedi video. Like I think Obi-Wan Kenobi always says to, is it Anakin Skywalker, which is like the end Darth Vader? Like in one, I think it's like part 3 of the Star Wars videos. Like it's over, Anakin. I have control of the high ground. So high ground, it's always good. So hello to whoever is watching this. I'll be doing a review for one of our teammates. Will be Jamster that's playing on the Junkrat here. I do not know the general SR, but generally should be go and below. So it's on defense, sets up a trap, which is good. What I would have preferred, alright, it's that maybe I can use my epic pen. Give me a while. Let's see if this epic pen works. Uh-huh. Does it work in-game? Can I... Wait, can I draw in-game? Okay, that doesn't seem like epic pen will work in-game. Okay. So let's do this instead. Like, what I would rather you try to do is you can set up your trap more in the hidden spot. Like personally, I would prefer. I have seen pros do this, and some players on ladder as well. They actually set up their sticky bomb here against the wall, so that it's actually harder to see if you're coming around. I know it's slightly harder to see the the what do you call it, the spikes as well in terms of enemies' perspective because they are sinking into the ground. However, it still makes it a bit obvious. So the spikes wise, I could suggest you could have tried setting it here. That is a little bit out of sight unless the enemy is coming in from this door. And as well as for the concussion bomb, you could try setting it here against the wall. So it's quite hard for them to see the concussion bomb because the spikes is kind of hidden from the enemy's perspective because they will sink beneath the ground here when you are playing from the enemy side. However, the concussion bomb I believe doesn't sink, and it's pretty obvious to see a concussion bomb in the middle of the road. So this is why I would suggest for you to at least hide the concussion bomb and partially hide the spikes by putting it somewhere maybe around the corners like this. It is harder for the enemy to step onto it, but it also gives you the benefit of being harder for it to be destroyed. Okay. Activating the barrier. So okay, I like that you take out your position here. So this is natural high ground, and from which you can spam damage. Yes, it is a... Maybe I can lower my game volume. Okay, it is kind of easy to hit you from this because you are quite exposed, but generally speaking, the benefits of getting high ground and easy to spam damage is actually still quite good. I like that you use a concussion bomb to go high ground, and I like that you ducked behind this little box and you targeted the Ana. Then next you went for the other support, which is good. So generally good plays here, and yep, it's good that you keep using concussion bombs to get the high ground. High ground is always good. Gives you more vision, makes you harder to hit, and you can generally make a bigger impact from high ground. So I like that you went back to fetch your mercy, so to say, to let your mercy latch onto you. Yep. Okay. So generally I do see that you try to spam shield when that's the only thing you see, and whenever you see a support, you do try to direct your damage towards it, which is good because it's actually way easier to kill a support with their lower health, and you make a bigger impact in the game when you kill a support as a DPS. Okay, nice that you actually went back. Unlucky that you died. Okay, go high ground. Yep. Okay, so you missed the jump. It's okay. Alright. So since you're down without concussion bombs, I think you still had one more concussion bomb to get a high ground. But you backed off. Okay. Here, I think you were aiming at the Zara from the start. And then, like, I think you were lucky to get a bomb on the Lucio. But it's fine. Okay, so you're spamming at the soldier. You're ducking behind for the cover, which is good. Okay, now you have Riptire. So we're probably looking to use Riptire next fight. I don't really recall this fight, but yeah. So you have two choices. It's like whether you want to use the Riptire at the start of the fight, which is something that I would suggest because for Junkrat, Riptire is a very high impact, high damage AOE burst damage ultimate. So if the enemy is grouped up, you can easily get like a 6 kill or at least a 3 to 4 kill. So usually what I would suggest is as a Junkrat, maybe you want to consider using Riptire at the beginning of the fights. Because what happens from okay, let's look at this from the enemy's perspective. Okay. What happens from enemy's perspective is this. Imagine that there are more of them, like you see them coming through, and you use Riptire from a very safe position. Because another thing of using Riptire at the beginning of a fight is that you can pick your position to be really super safe. So you have a minimal chance of getting picked while you're very vulnerable using Riptire. So imagine you use Riptire here. And obviously you can run the Riptire through this shot to this little hole in the wall here, and you can jump them across the high ground. You can wrap it around here and then drop it on the enemy from top. So it's up to you to how do you want to path your Riptire. It's as you can be as creative as you like, be as sneaky as you like. And another tech for Riptire is that if you like run it against a wall, for example, you run it here and just let it stay there for like 1 second, it turns silent. Like the ringing sound of that tire becomes a lot more silent, and it becomes a lot more sneakier when you're trying to be sneaky with the tire. So imagine if you run your Riptire through here and you run them and you bomb them straight up. Like here, if you can probably kill maybe the Anna or the Lucio, or maybe you can wait for them to group up a little bit more, like drop them here, and then you can kill both the soldier and the Anna. So that is instantly a one fight for your team. So the enemy will be like, okay, we lost 2, so we gotta regroup, and they are gonna spend at least 20 seconds, I guess, to wait for respawns and regroup. So that's 20 seconds won for your defense. Okay, instead, I remember you using Riptire mid-fight. And do you die for using it? Okay, so you use Riptire here, which is good. Generally, you get a little bit of cover. But I think you probably should die here because there are enemies that can wrap around from the left. It was a good bomb generally. Good get Anna. Okay, so your Hawk actually protected you. I think yeah, your Hawk used ultimate on the Rhine that was coming from the left. But in general, you could have seen how you could have I mean, you can probably visualize how easily you could have been fragged here. Imagine if the whole team went here on the left, they'll have probably fragged you, or at least half of the team, maybe like the McCree, the soldier or the tracer, as well as the Rhine or the Zara going from the left. They'll probably have fragged you while you're using Riptire to target enemies on the right. Okay, so I think this concussion bomb, you missed the high ground. Okay, then you went back to high ground here. Alright, seems like you guys have control of this fight. Lucky hit. which is good. I mean, it's always good to just spam damage as a Junkrat, because you can get lucky kills like that. So just spamming into chokes, good. Yep, just spam. Okay, you're going back high ground here to spam, which is good. Okay, so did you aim for the Lucio? Yep, I think you tried. You tried aiming for the Lucio. Okay, so in terms of target priority here, you were aiming to break the Rhine shield, but here I believe you have an opportunity to target both the squishy DPS and the Lucio, because this red shield was from your team, right? Yeah, I believe so, because they don't have a Sigma. So at this particular point in time, I believe as a DPS, you could have done more impact if you have spam your shots towards the soldier and then throw a concussion grenade. Maybe you could have gotten a lucky kill, a good kill on the soldier, and if you're lucky, you could even kill the Lucio as well. So rather than just focusing on doing shield damage, I would suggest for you to always look at opportunities where you can target squishier enemies. That means lower HP supports and lower HP DPSs. So if a small opportunity like this presents themselves, like here, it seems like you're still going for the Rhine, where okay, so the soldiers 76 altered there, and okay, you tried going high ground, but yeah, that was a bit of a desperate move. So Zara could have beam you down, no problem. So it's okay there. So I remember earlier I was watching your VOD up to here. Okay, this is where you realize that point A was lost. Okay, you're trying to spam a few shots and you realize that point A was lost. So at this point you were backing off. So this is a point that I mentioned, that at this point you already had your Riptire fully charged. If you're continuing to spam damage, the most likely effect you're going to do is just going to charge that support out. If you hit anyone, of course you could get lucky and maybe get a lucky kill on like a support or a DPS that's running into your bombs, but in my opinion it's pretty unlikely, because if you're spamming bombs from a long distance, they're very obvious, because they just go around. I mean, you can see them coming from the sky and landing on the ground, but bounce a few times. So it's very unlikely that they're going to get hit by long distance bombs like that. And if I'm a tank, for example, I'm a Zarya. So in this case, there is a Zarya by the player named Panda. I would purposely use my personal bubble and my personal bubble to run into your bombs to get outcharge and to get higher beam energy. And if it was the Rhine, I could have asked the Rhine just purposely take damage so that the supports can heal. Like in this case, the Lucio could have healed the Rhine to get more outcharge. Okay, so we can see this from the enemy's perspective. Okay, so they're capping the point. Okay. So, okay, it seems like you stopped spamming bombs here. So you went to high ground, which is good. This is a good high ground position. Something I would like you to consider is that there are other high grounds that are pretty safe and hidden from the enemy, and yet you can still spam as well. Like this is a good high ground. You can actually just walk up the stairs or concussion yourself up to here. This is a pretty good spot. You can pop out of here, spam damage, and when you need cover, just duck in here and ask for your healers to heal you from here. So that's pretty good. So obviously this spot is also not too bad. So you can come from here, pop out a little bit, spam damage towards either this hole or towards this narrow choke here. Or you could spam your bombs on top of the bend here, right? Spam them around here so that you're sort of like naturally. Let's see if you're all right. So you have some natural cover in the form of this pillar. So this pillar blocks the enemy direct line of sight to you, or you can go around here, stand around here and spam damage here. So these are also good high grounds where your healers can easily heal you, like your Ana can heal you. If you have a Zen or a Mercy, they can easily heal you. They have good line of sight. But the only problem would be this moving platform. Like if you stay around this edge, this moving platform most of the time tries to push you off. So you gotta walk backwards when you feel the platform is pushing you, or probably you will get up on the platform and then walk backwards off the platform back onto the ledge. So it requires a little bit more micromanagement, but both these ledges here are very good high grounds for defense for DPS heroes, especially like Junkrat, who can spam from high ground. Of course, if you're a soldier or McCree, I personally use this high ground as well. It's also pretty good because of the fact that you get easy access to your enemies and you can hide. So you do you change your high ground position? Let's see. Okay, you choose to go low ground. Maybe you were trying to avoid the 76 shots, but it's quite unlikely the 76 can kill from that range. I mean, even if you were to stay on this high ground on here, because of course 76 has a lower fall of damage, but it's quite unlikely for 76 to be that good to headshot you from from this doorway all the way to the high ground here. So you can easily duck behind here, ask for heals, and I think you have a, oh, okay. So you don't have an, okay, you do have an Anna. So you have an Anna and Mercy. The Anna and Mercy can easily heal you from if you duck behind here. So choosing to go here, it's actually very risky because a Tracer can easily come from behind and flank you, where in this case, if you are unable to like duck a fire strike, like the Rhino almost reaches you here, like a few Zara right clicks and a lucky fire strike can easily kill you here. So it's actually quite dangerous to go that close to the enemy, especially on low ground. Like here you go back to high ground, which is good. Okay, nice. Okay, gonna spam the, yep, good. Spam the Reaper and concuss him out. So it was unlikely to kill the Reaper there, but because of the Reaper's health pool, I believe the Reaper usually has. Okay, let's go back and look at it from the Reaper's perspective. So the most you could do is probably just push him away. I think it's here, right? So Reaper has 250 health. I believe it should be full health when he teleported. So he teleported, it doesn't see you, now he sees you. Okay, yeah, you land like, I don't know whether you land like a left click bomb on him, but the most you brought him down is you brought him down to half health. So it was almost impossible to kill a Reaper here. But at least you pushed him away. Okay, let's look at things back from a perspective. So that graph was from the enemy, right? Yeah, because you guys don't have Zarya. Okay, you decide to use Riptide here. It's not bad because the enemy used a graph. It was in danger of wiping your team, so you want to like do something defensive. Could there have been a better pathing? Maybe you could have gone through here, gone through there, but generally I think your idea was correct. But another way is you could have pathed it here. That means you run the Riptide through here, run up through here, and go out here, and boom. It's definitely a lot more. It's a lot sneakier, and generally, what I would like you to think about is probably how you can best avoid direct line of sight from the enemy, like approaching enemies from an off angle or approaching them from behind. Like anytime if your Riptide has to approach them from the front, it's generally not that good because if they have a hit scan, for example, like in this case they have a Widow, which is actually quite difficult for a Widow to hit a Riptide. But like Zarya, the Reaper could hit your Riptide. In the end, it was the Reaper who did it. Or like a McCree, especially a McCree or Tracer could actually hit down, could kill off your Riptide from the front. So generally with Riptide outs, you want to think about can I always approach them from an off angle, like from the side, like this is from the side, or maybe from behind, like I don't think you can. Yeah, it's kind of hard to get them from behind. Probably have to exit from here and then yeah, drop them from behind. Oh, this is suicidal. I think you're gonna die here. Die? Oh my god, you're so lucky. That is throwing territory. Whenever you go like face to face with like a tank, you're staring death in your own eyes. You're staring death down. So I don't know why you did that because you can easily stay on the high ground and continue spamming damage. Like you can stay here to spam damage. You could probably kill the widow if she repels up here as well. Or you could have just concussion bomb yourself to the next high ground, which is either here, here, or you can double concuss yourself to go back here, right? That means you use a concussion one time, and when you're in the middle of air, you flick down, you throw in concussion, and you bomb yourself to go another round. So that's a double concussion jump. Instead, you drop down, and yeah, eventually you die. I was surprised you didn't die earlier there. Okay, so you switch your main, which is good. So you wanted to delay, and yeah, it's too bad because the team got wiped totally. But I would consider that to be a throw from your side because you can easily avoid the damage and you can make a bigger impact in the defense there rather than going down to the ground level and like going face to face with the Rhine. Maybe let's look back at it. Let's take a look back. Yeah. So in this case, you volunteered to go down, which is even worse. Because you weren't forced to go down, you volunteered to go down to go like one on one with the Rhine, which is like yeah, there were many instances where you could have died. Because the Rhine blocked your shots there, but if he had like Fire Strike 2 and maybe swung his hammer 2 times at you, because we can kind of Rhine has a damage, Fire Strike does 100 damage, and his hammers does 75. So if you get hit by a Fire Strike and one left click from his hammer, that's 175 damage. You only have a 200 health pool. So from there, like the Anna could have gotten a lucky shot, the Anna could have thrown a nade, and you would have died. If there was a Lucio nearby, any spam damage from the Lucio from his left click would have died. A boop from the Lucio, I think, would have killed you if you were down, because you will probably be down to like from 200 minus 175, so you're down to like 25. Is my math correct? Yeah. So down to 25 damage. So a melee does 30 damage. So any melee attack from like a Lucio or an Anna would have killed you after a Fire Strike and a Rhine Hammer connected. Just one click from a Rhine Hammer connects with you. So if a Rhine Hammer connects with you twice plus a Fire Strike, you're dead. If the hammer connects with you twice, that's 75 multiplied by 2, that's 150 damage. So you're down to 50 health, which is like a nade could have killed you, probably a melee and a boop could have killed you, or a third left click from the Rhine could have fragged you and stuff like that. So eventually, yeah. So the Widow got like a pretty soft uncharged left click probably. Yeah, but anything could have killed it at that point. Okay, so we knew that you guys lost this point. So let's look at attack. Are you gonna play Sim just to speed up your team, or you're really gonna play Sim? Oh, you're really gonna play Sim, or is it just to... Okay. Okay, there's another thing that's pretty popular in Overwatch League level is that when you start out as a sim, right? The sim is just used to like accelerate your team. For example, you just want to get your team to the high ground, so you just build a teleporter, get to the high ground, and once all 5 members of your team teleport, you go back and you switch to your own DPS hero that you wanted to go to, which is yeah, any hero. So it can be like Tracer, even sometimes even McCrees do that, but the McCree will be much slower to the attack. So you're gonna place him on attack. Which is okay. Okay, so you wanna spam right clicks. Yep. Okay, you can teleport high ground. That's nice. I like that you choose to go high ground here. I mean, to build a teleporter to high ground for your team is good because your team can skip this initial part, and at the same time, you guys get to the high ground, which is a a good advantage position. Okay, dropping down is bad. I mean, personally, not that it's bad, but personally, I don't really like dropping down because you're surrendering. Okay, it's at least Anna stays high ground and pushes off the soldier. The soldier, because what I would have preferred is that once you get to high ground, you 1v1 the soldier. Even if you can't kill the soldier, you want to force the soldier off the high ground because a soldier on the high ground, it's as strong as a Junkrat on the high ground. It's pretty strong, so you want to force him off the high ground, and you want to maintain high ground for yourself if you want. So immediately just dropping down from the high ground, that and I think it's a missed opportunity. Okay, they have a sim as well. Yeah, so that's what happens if you... I mean, technically, if you 1v1 the soldier on the high ground, you could have died like this too. But at that point of time, your Ana was behind you, so your Ana could have healed you. And even if you died on high ground back then, if you 1v1 the soldier earlier, that means if you 1v1 the soldier here, even if you died here, the soldier would probably be somewhat low and he would still maybe push him off the high ground. Yep, this would probably go a lot better because your tanks are in front of you to provide healing. Alright, so this is where your high effective DPI is not that good. Because when you're playing a hero that actually is not Junkrat or like not Pharah and needs some form of tracking, for example in this case, Symmetra. Let's go back a bit. Your high DPI will make it really hard for you to aim. Oh, did I go back too far? Yeah, go back a bit too far. So, okay, look at here. So your aim would be swinging from left to right, from left to right. That's because of a high effective DPI. So if you want to be good at tracking, like tracking heroes, for example, like a trace, even a tracer doesn't need that high a DPI. Like a soldier, a tracer, a Zarya, that needs to track your enemies, and I believe an echo as well, because for the focus beam you actually need to track. Or hit scan heroes like McCree, Widow. Generally, you might want to play on a lower effective DPI. It will make your track aiming a lot easier. That means tracking will be a lot easier for you, and especially what we call it snapshots, where the Widow and McCree does that a lot, where you just snap your aim to like the head of an enemy and you click at the same time. So I believe that's called snap shooting or like snap aiming. It's a lot easier at lower effective DPIs. Like in this case, you were missing a lot of damage because you couldn't track well because of a high DPI. You tried your best for the Lucio, but against the soldier, you were missing a lot of shots. I would have rather you kept your teleporter to do a teleporter attack here. Because what's the impact of just reducing the travel time? Maybe you guys could have snowballed faster if you have killed the enemies, but it's still quite likely they're gonna respawn in time. What I would have suggested is like you could have used a teleporter here. Like you could have teleported the whole team to the high ground here and let them drop from high ground. Or if your team actually has a smart main tank, they could get up to high ground, hide in this corner here, heal up, and then choose to drop down from here or walk over from here and drop down from the back. So there's a lot more possibilities for you to use a teleporter from here. Or even if you were not aiming for the high ground, you could have, let's say you were trying to aim for the high ground at the back. You could have walked up to here, aim your teleporter at maybe, I don't know whether you could have reached, because personally I haven't tried it before. So that's a possibility. Or if you want to go straight to point from here, so just pop up, aim your teleporter straight into the point and go. So a missed opportunity for using teleporter there, in my opinion. Alright. For Symmetras, right, you actually can charge your left click off Ryan shields, which is why Symmetra is actually a pretty good hero when you play against like double shield comms or Ryan comms or Orisa comms. Because even though you don't do damage to the actual hero, you it's kind of like charge your left click pretty fast. And I'm not 100% sure, but I'm not sure whether you actually do not use ammo or you actually recharge your ammo when you're aiming at shields. Let's go back a little bit. Okay, so your ammo goes down. Do you actually left click on the Ryan shield? Okay, nice shadow from your Ryan. Yeah, so you see that your high sensitivity here really makes you not do a lot of damage against heroes when you're using tracking left click. Okay, a little bit of a missed opportunity here where you have control of the point and you still have two sentry cannons. That means those laser thingies that you set up. So you still have two of them which you could have set up around the point. So a bit of a missed opportunity here. Yep, you're setting it up here. So generally at the start of the fight, when you were like right in front of the Rhine, I would have rather use your left click because left click charges quickly and I believe it should be, the ammo should be recharging, I'm not 100% sure. But generally speaking, the Symmetra's left click beam is very good against shields. So generally if once I see a shield tank and I'm playing Symmetra, I actually will just aim at their shield to try and like charge my left click. And once you have a fully charged left click beam, I think you technically do more damage than a fully charged Zarya. So Symmetra is a pretty scary hero when it's fully charged. Okay, so you set up a bomb here. Okay, so I believe it should be more of the same thing. Yeah, so you died because you were at low ground. So if you realize the difference between your first defense, where you were always at high ground, you survived a lot longer, you did more impact, you did more damage, and now second point defense, once you drop to low ground, you fed. And you fed like in record time. So anytime you can get the high ground, just get the high ground. You do a lot more impact as a DPS, especially as a Junkrat. So certain DPSs, it's really easy for them to get the high ground, like Junkrat, Soldier 76, because you can rocket jump and you can run. And those heroes really benefit from being on the high ground. So here another missed opportunity where you could have get the high ground. Yeah, so if you ever need to get this close to an enemy, you're probably dead. So I don't know why they didn't look at you. I don't know why they didn't focus you down. Okay, but good try here to get the high ground, but a bit too late. Yeah, so it's a missed opportunity. If you have been spamming damage from the high ground, let's say you were spamming damage from here, right? You will probably charge your Riptire. And you could have hidden here, used Riptire, and like maybe you couldn't have killed the whole enemy team, but you have probably at least killed the BAP or the Mercy and stuff like that. So you have probably done a lot more impact if you were always on high ground. Okay, so that was expected. So I expected you to feed and die once you're on low ground. Because Junkrat is, yeah, 200 HP hero on low ground, it's pretty bad. At least if you're a Reaper at 250 hit points. And because a Reaper does lifesteal damage at close range, and a Reaper has the shift ability to escape, it makes more sense for a Reaper to be directly like face to face with an enemy and be on low ground. But even then, good Reapers will still approach. Probably they try and like come from behind, approach from off angle to get a surprise factor. And if you're going to drop down to go face to face with someone, I would have rather you go face to face with a support. Like in their case, they had supports like in this case they have a Moira and a Bat. So if you were to pick your fights and you were to go face to face against someone's Junkrat, I wouldn't go face to face with an angry German man that's a Rhine, or like an angry Russian woman that's a Zarya. They can probably eat bears alive. So I'll probably go face to face with like squishy supports like a Bat or like a Moira, where you're more likely to win the matchup. And by killing the support, you have more impact in the fight as well. Okay, so I think you're gonna probably do the same thing here on attack, which is TP your team to high ground, which is a good spot. So I like this a lot. Okay, this time the soldier is smart. Because you've done this once, so now the soldier picks the second high ground, and it's gonna be very difficult for you to dislodge this soldier. So this soldier is gonna gain a lot of value from being up there. You can see how annoying he is. Like there's like nothing much you can do. So you can't hit him, your left click can't reach him, and you're probably gonna die here. So that's what I was talking about. The power of a soldier and a Junkrat on the high ground. I mean, I don't know why the soldier dropped down from his high ground, but generally, yeah, the impact that he has from there is a lot higher. He should have never dropped down. He should have just stayed there the whole game, and you could have gotten a lot of impact there. Okay, somehow your team kept. Okay, good. You're using high ground. Good. So you can see that you're making a lot more impact here. Yep. So you're going from high ground to high ground. So you're looking to go to high ground again. Good. Okay. Yeah, in this case, I still don't like the fact that yeah you went so low. So you were aiming to go high ground, which your concussion shot jump missed. But yeah, that's the idea, to keep going for high ground. Okay, can you boop him away? Nice. Good double concussion bomb there. So you see that you're a lot more effective on heroes like Junkrat. Actually, I mean probably because you're a very experienced Junkrat, and also because your effective DPI is on the high side. So with a very high effective DPI, it's very difficult for you to play heroes that require tracking and more precise aim. If you want to like get better at those heroes, I would suggest for you to play at a lower effective DPI. What I mean by effective DPI is that maybe I can just pause the game and show you via the settings. Okay, for example, if you go to controls, so this is my all hero setting. So this is your sensitivity, right? So DPI generally you can relate it to sensitivity, but because your mouse has a DPI. So for example, most modern gaming mice nowadays come with a default DPI, I think, of 1600. So when we talk about effective DPI, for example, my mouse, I think is at 1600. So 1600 multiplied by in-game sensitivity of 3.1 in this case would give an effective DPI of 4960. So it's about effective DPI of 5000. But when I play heroes that require more precise aim like McCree, I actually play at a much lower effective DPI. So I reduce my sensitivity by half to 1.55, multiplied by my mouse DPI of 1600. So that's an effective DPI of like 2480. So I could probably bump it up to like effective DPI of 3000 and so on. So so this is what I mean by effective DPI. That means your mouse DPI combined with your in-game, your Overwatch in-game sensitivity would be equals to your EDPI or effective DPI. There are many videos on this. You can check out Jane's YouTube videos. I believe or Stylosa. I believe he does some videos on this as well. Okay, if you are using like a generic non-gaming mice, you can also Google for probably like the website which from your mouse manufacturer, and try to Google for the stats of your mouse. Like you Google for what's their DPI. So most of the time, I would think that the DPI was like 1600. But you can always Google for it. I think some mices have maybe a DPI of like 3200 or like 800. Yeah, generally the DPI comes in ranges 800, 1600, and 3200, or maybe even 2400. But I believe they have a jump. So like 800, I think 400 or 800 could be the minimum for most gaming mice. That's the lowest it can go. And the next jump will be 1600, and the jump after that will be double of that, will be 3200. Get my alarm clock there. Yeah, so jumping down here, yeah. So you realize that every time you want to jump and you want to go face to face with a Rhine, you feed. And every time you're on the high ground, you get value. Or like you survive a lot longer. Okay, that's unlucky. I think you were booped around, so you didn't land the concussion jump. Yep. So like there, if you wanted to go 1v1, I would rather you go on 1v1 with the Moira. So you see, you almost killed the Moira there. You brought the Moira really low. I believe another concussion bomb could have killed the Moira there. Alright, good. You aim for the lamp. I call that immortality lamp or something like that. But sometimes you just call it a lamp for short. Okay, you could use Riptire here. That's not a bad spot. But same thing with rather you stay on high ground, it will be a lot safer, or at least even if you want to stay on low ground, like in this case, stay far away from the enemy tanks, which you did, and instantly you made more impact, got more value. So let's skip ahead. Okay, so Symmetra attack again, it's fine. Let's speed up. Okay, so I'm gonna teleport to the same spot. Okay, you are. Why did the Ashe pick this spot? Is the Ashe the... Okay, I think the Ashe was a soldier player. Previously, he picked a really good spot here. This time, he picked the spot you're gonna TP to. So, you're gonna kill the Ashe, right? Yep, so you're gonna kill the Ashe. So, I mean, that's a mistake from his end. So, if you're on the defending end, you gotta realize that if your enemy TP'd the same spot twice, there's a chance it's gonna TP the same spot again. So, you're gonna avoid the spot that they are coming out from. Because the Symmetra does a lot better in the close range 1v1 against like range heroes like an Ashe or a Widowmaker, or even the Soldier could have lost a 1v1 at you close range, but of course Soldier has the burst damage of the rocket if he lands it. So Soldier is a tougher opponent in the close range. So Dropping down here, you're gonna feed. Yeah, so I liked your play until the fact that you drop down there. Because, dude, you don't really need to drop down from there, actually. Because from this range, your left click could have reached most of the enemies here. So if they were gonna go far away, then you probably gotta wait for your tanks to come in to provide some cover for you before you drop down and try to 1v1 them. But if your tanks came in here, you see most of them are still hanging around here. So you could have still done damage on the high ground with your left click. And you have been safe from Ryan's hammers. You'll probably be somewhat safe from the Reaper shots because Reaper does less damage the further you are. And the Zarya could have reached you. So that's a bad thing. Okay, you guys already fragged the Baptiste. Yeah. Okay, what else could reach you? The Moira could reach you, but yeah, it's still safer than going down because whenever the Ryan's hammer can reach you, it's very dangerous. The Ryan hammer is a big source of damage output. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, one hammer swing, one hammer hit is 75 damage. So two of them is 150. So if you're a 200 HP hero, yeah, in this case you're 200 hit points. Two hammer swings and you're almost dead. Yeah, and I don't like the fact that I'm running into the Ryan hammers. So for a fight against a Ryan, I would probably suggest like staying at the maximum range that your beam can reach him, but yet out of the range of his hammers, if that's even possible. If not, then approach him from an angle that's like from behind him or something. So other than that, if he's like bring his shield up, then just use your left beam and charge your left beam on his shield. Okay, yeah, this use of teleporter is way better. So you're aiming to go high ground here. Yep, nice, good. But why would you want to drop down to low ground once you have control of the high ground? No, it's like the Jedi video. Like I think Obi-Wan Kenobi always says to, is it Anakin Skywalker, which is like the end Darth Vader? Like one, I think it's like part 3 of the Star Wars videos. Like it's over, Anakin. I have control of the high ground. So high ground, it's always good. So if you're giving up your high ground advantage to go to low ground, so it's like you're not Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're like Anakin Skywalker, and you're gonna lose the fight and drop into the lava. If you ever watched that Star Wars video. So if you didn't, you probably wouldn't get my reference.
There is still much to be done.
Take the objective.
Onwards to victory.
Nice, good teleporter there. Instantly gets you to the high ground. And okay, you wanted to drop down here to lay down your sentry, which is good. It's okay. But I like the teleporter. So any teleporter that instantly gets you to high ground is always good. Okay, and that's it for the review. Thanks for submitting the replay, and I hope it's helpful. We can help you in some way. So general disclaimer is that obviously I'm not a very high ranked player because I'm a good player myself. So I'm not super good at Overwatch. I just try my best to help you guys with whatever analytical skills that I have. I try and look at it from a more logical perspective. So definitely I don't have the experience of higher ranked players. So a lot of the very minute details of certain heroes I might miss out, or I might miss out on certain details. So obviously you can take my advice with a grain of salt here because since I'm not a very high ranked player. Okay, and thanks again for submitting a review. and goodbye. So stop the recording here. Oh, I'm still on Epic Pen. Okay, so I stop the